this is Strategywizard again, and today I'm going to be doing a review of Starship Samurai, which is a game designed by Isaac Vega and published by Plaid Hat Games. Now, this is a game that has a pretty unique theme right now. I don't think I know any other board game with this theme, and it's got a lot of plastic pieces, so for me, that sounds like something that I would like for sure. And why did I buy this game? Well, because of Starship Samurai Mechs. that's to a large extent, that's pretty much it. So just to get started here, you know, this game has a pretty impressive table presence, I think. And it's definitely a game that whenever you see the mechs, see the quality, you kind of assume there's, and it's Plaid Hat. I mean, I think most of us know Plaid Hat makes games that are, they don't make bad games, let's just put it that way. And that is another selling point for me. I knew that more than likely this would be something that would be up my alley. So let's just say, first of all, the rule book. After reading through this, I realized that although the rule book is pretty powerfully illustrated and a lot of good examples, there are some flaws, and I'm going to go ahead and show you some of those. As you can see, there's a nice player setup here, which is great. You can see everything that everyone's supposed to get, how wonderful, we all like that. It gives you these setup instructions, and the rules overall are pretty straightforward and simple. But here's the problem I have with this instruction booklet. As overall simple as the instructions are, whenever you get to the end, there's a glossary. This glossary is, unfortunately, a place to actually find rules that you don't find anywhere else. And an example of that is attach token. That's why. Attach token. It says to attach a token to a unit, place it under the unit's figure, and attached token moves with the figure until that unit is destroyed or returned to a player's unit supply, at which point the attached tokens are discarded. That is a really important rule, and it's something that whenever I played this with my cousins, I was really confused about how that worked, and the fact that you have to go to the glossary to find out an important rule, I would hope a glossary would not be where you'd find important rules that you can't find anywhere else. There was another one too, I can't remember. There was something else that whenever I first started, I had to go to the glossary to figure out, and I just don't think the glossary should be where you put important rules that you need to know. That being said, at least you know now, if you buy this game, read the glossary and don't assume that it's just, you know, don't assume it's not that important. Read the glossary of this instruction manual. Now let's get back to how to play this game. Okay, so setup of this game is fairly straightforward. I have this set up for a 3-player game. You have player boards for each player in their color with their units on their board. There's some cards that everyone's going to get. There's the point track and clan allegiance track board, and then there's these area control boards that you're going to be fighting for control over, which is where a lot of the game takes place. Now, the area control boards are pretty straightforward. I mean, you've got slots for all the different units, and you have a slot for a card, a location card that you'll go to, and everyone's player board is really pretty handy, although this may not be quite big enough because the mechs, which are not small to say the least, I mean these things have a pretty big base. Whenever you put that on there, you can see that's going to take up some room, and you can have 2 of these, but still it's very useful. You have your unit supply, and you have a slot for your ship cards and everything. And then you also have this important part that shows you how what your actions are each turn. Now, I'm not going to go through all the rules of the game. I'm just going to go over generally the feel of this game, how it plays, and that way you can get an idea of if this is the kind of thing you're interested in. So let's see what actually happens. The meat of Starship Samurai happens right here. On each person's turn, apart from the fact that they could get rewards for locations that they have the most power in at the beginning of their turn, you're going to take an order, and you're going to be going around taking turns, taking orders until all the orders have been completed, and then you'll have your battle phase. But basically, you have 4 order tokens, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and the number is basically how powerful it is. That's pretty nice because you have the free choice to make any of these actions the most powerful that you do that round. You can move your allegiance markers over here, which you shift them up and down the tracks. You want to have these clans, these extra clans that aren't the big fighting clans, but you want these clans to be on your side, and if they're allied with you, they'll give you points usually, or money if they're not really seriously allied with you. But if they're really high up on your alliance track, then you'll get points. So you can move, let's say you played the 2 on this, you could move any one of these track tokens for one of these clans 2 spaces. So if it's on someone else's, you can move it down to the neutral, come up to yours, and get ready to move it on up. And then if you were to move units, you can, if you had the 2 on there, you could move 2 units. Let's say I want to move this ship here, I'll move, and the carrier has the ability to carry 2 ships with it, and you can say, I'll take this over here. Just note that the fact that I have these area control boards in front of each player, that's not really relevant. I just did that for simplicity of setting up the play area. You can go anywhere you want. So you can move ships. Carrier brings 2 ships with him for 1 point of movement, and this guy moves over here for 1 point of movement. Or you can then, and let's just say you did that as your first thing. Everyone else takes their turn. Then you could go, hey, you know what? I want to draw cards. Well, you got this nice deck of cards here, and this deck of cards really is where a whole lot of excitement comes from, because there's two copies of each card, and there's 2 kinds. There's battle cards and there's order cards. And battle cards are what you're going to play whenever you actually have combat. Order cards are what you're going to play during your turn, either before or after you make your order. And a lot of the time they have a cost. In this case, you lose 2 honor points, which is the point system. So honor points are actually lost to use this card. That sounds bad. You don't want to lose points, since that's the point of the game is to have the most points. Well, but it's thematically. One thing that I'm impressed by this game is the cards. There's a lot of thematic implications, and here's a good example. You're holding someone hostage. So yeah, that's a little dishonorable to hold someone hostage in the hopes of, you know, taking advantage of someone. And you choose a player in a location. The chosen player must choose to either lose 4 honor points, which thematically means they're going to let that person die, which is dishonorable to let their person get killed, or they can take all their units they control in that location back to their supply. So thematically, that's awesome. I mean, you're actually saying, hey, I'm going to kill this person that I took if you don't, you know, hightail it out of whatever area. So it's a powerful card to play. Even though you lose points, you can make it to where someone loses all their units somewhere. So if they had a lot of units planning on holding something, you can just wipe them out, or they lose 4 points, which is a real bummer to lose. Then you've got a supply attack order. You lose an honor point again because it's dishonorable to go mess up someone's supplies, and so you may destroy up to 2 units in your supply. So you lose 2 units, and then you choose a player. For each unit you destroyed, the chosen player must choose to either pay you 2 money or destroy 2 units in their supply. So another interesting thing that you can do, you do some dishonorable stuff, but it can pay off for you, so you lose honor points. Oh well. Let's get some battle cards. This is a good battle card. First Strike. It also costs honor points, so again, you're losing points, but if you control at least 1 samurai mech at this location, you can destroy 1 enemy unit at this location. Dishonorable, thematically I assume, because since it's First Strike, the idea is, I guess, that you're coming in with a surprise attack, essentially, and taking advantage of the situation. Or it might be this. You spend 1 wealth, where you spend money, which you can get money with one of the actions. You come over here, you gain wealth tokens equal to however many. So if you played 3, you get 3 wealth tokens. That's nice. And wealth can be used in a number of ways, but you spend 1 wealth, advanced tech, you gain 1 combat. That's what that little symbol means. For each unit you control at this location. That can be really powerful, because if you have even if you have a bunch of wimpy units, because these little ships have a whopping 1 combat strength, well, now you play this and suddenly they're double their value. So that's really powerful. It costs money to do it, but it's worth it if it's going to help you win. So cards are really, that's one of the cool thematic things about this game. So the point is, you have all these orders, you'll be doing these things, trying to figure out, do I want to move units? Do I want to draw new cards, which you have a hand limit of 5? Do you want to get wealth tokens so you can spend money on cards, or you can even use wealth tokens to boost an action? So let's say you only had the 1 left, that's your last order token. You go, oh no, all I can do is this, move 1 clan marker up to X spaces. Now here's the thing, you can actually do the same thing again. Let's just say I've already drawn 3 cards and I go, you know what, I need more. So you play that 1 there. You can spend as many wealth tokens as you want to boost it. So instead of just drawing 1 card, you could play 2 wealth if you have it, to draw 3 cards. Boom! So wealth is like it's just a great way to boost anything and make yourself happier. So wealth, yes. Does that mean that you could play 4 right here on gain wealth tokens and get 4? Let's say you added 4 wealth tokens to that 4. Now you get 8 wealth tokens. Of course, that doesn't actually help, but it sure sounds fun. So spend money to make money. You just don't make any more than you spend. But still, the point is, on the other 3 actions, you do get that awesome benefit. So lots of cool stuff there. So I don't even. This is the meat of the game, and it's exciting because you get that choice. You have those options to, where are you going to go, and what do you maybe you want to just move people over and over again. Maybe you want to move 4 units, then I want to move 2 more units, then you want to move 3 more units, and the timing is important because you can have a kind of almost a bluffing mechanism. Let's say you want to save your 4 and your 3 because you want to see what everyone else is going to do before you commit your most powerful tokens, and you kind of piddle around. I'll draw a card. I'll move a couple of units or maybe gain a couple of wealth tokens, and then whenever you see what everyone else is doing, then you go, oh, let me move these units and flood an area and get ready to take control. Now, whenever it comes to area control, it's really important to understand if it's filled up. Let's say Gray decided to barge in here with some of their stuff, plop a mech over here. They are able to, block it off so the green can't get in. However, the exception is with a mech, you can come in and destroy one of the weakest units there. So if green wanted to come in with one of their mechs, they could destroy one of our ships to push their way inside. And there's cards that can also affect things on these boards. But whoever has the most control here is at the beginning of their turn, they're going to get these rewards. So you can move the mountain clan marker up on the allegiance track towards yourself, or down if it's on someone else's, and you can get 1 honor point. So it's whenever it comes to the area control, you really want to try to get in there and take control as much as you can. It's really powerful to keep control, and this is one important rule that I forgot to apply the very first time I played, but man does it matter. If these guys win, let's say Gray wins this location. At the end of the round, after everyone's on their order tokens, you have a battle, which a battle is pretty simple. You just see who all's in the battle, you add up their attack power. Each mech has their own attack power, and you'll see, for example, these 2 mechs, that one of them has an attack power of 4, one has an attack power of 3, and some of them, one of them has 6, and another has 2. So you'll add up all the attack power of every unit, and then you have the option to play a battle card. Well, here's the cool part, and this is one thing that makes the card play in this game so good. Everyone starts off, let me move that out of the way. Everyone starts off with 2 battle cards, right off the bat. An Elite General and a Change Strategy. The Elite General can give you 3 attack, that's huge. But the Change Strategy, you can gain a wealth, or you can draw an action card. But you put this card back in your hand after you play it. Which means that in pretty much any battle that happens, everyone is going to play a card. It might be Change Strategy, which doesn't actually affect the battle, but it's like an automatic bluffing mechanism that happens every single battle. Someone might be like, ooh, because you do it secretly. So this person goes, I'm going to play my Elite General and try to take over, take this location. And the other person says, you know what, I think that they're not going to play anything too powerful, so they play their Change Strategy, you reveal, bam, this person ends up winning. And well, here's the interesting part, and this is the rule I forgot. If you win, your units go away, you claim the location card, it gives you 5 honor points, that's awesome, and you get the bonus once again that's on the card, but you leave. Everyone else who's there stays, and it was counterintuitive to me at first, but boy is it an important mechanism. Not only is it kind of a catch-up mechanism to make sure no one gets too far behind, but it also means, most importantly, that it motivates everyone to want to get out there and go to each location. Otherwise, you might have people just going to their location, the one that, I say there, meaning I go to this one first, this person says, I'll go to that one, this person says, I'll go over to this one, and no one really tries to fight. This makes you want to go there, because if you lose, you still keep your units there. And if you're at the beginning of your let's say you start the next turn, because you'll be passing around this little first player marker as you play, and suddenly out of the blue, if you're first at the end of the round, if you have ships somewhere and have the most authority, you start off getting the bonus on one of the cards that you're in the location that you're at. That's huge. It's a real motivator to keep people wanting to have combat, and it makes it not too painful either. Let's talk about the mechs, which honestly is one of the big draws of this game. The mechs are, not only they look really awesome, the detail's amazing, but functionally they are super powerful. I mean, these are like the super units in your army. Well, how do you get them? Well, at the beginning, you're going to draft them. There's eight of these mechs, and these cards, whoever is designated as the first player, which they say you just randomly choose, they are going to get to draft one. And then it passes around, drafting one, each person gets a chance. The last person gets to draft again, twice in a row, and then it goes back the other way, counterclockwise, so the person who picked first will also pick last. Then everyone will have their two mechs, which the mechs are, like I say, they're hugely important because not only can they barge their way into a full area, which is humongously powerful, because you can always, let's say two people say, we're going to block this area off, and they fill it all up. Well, now suddenly it's not blocked. Anybody can come in here and have a little bit of fun. Let's say blue decided they wanted to say, I'm just going to fill all this up, and these guys come in and go, no, boom, blow him up. But as soon as you do that, your ship will go into your graveyard, which is just to the side. You'll get those back at the end of the round. No matter how many units you lose, they'll come back whenever the new round starts, and you refresh your order tokens. But for now, it's destroyed. Someone else comes in and they go, bam, I want to be in this game too. So suddenly, wow, it is seriously raining out here, folks. I mean, I'm looking at this window and it looks like a nightmare. It is windy and miserable. Fortunately, we're safe inside in outer space with our mechs. We don't have to worry about the rain that's going on Earth. So basically, people in a four-player game, all their mechs can just keep barging in and taking over, and originally you had all this stuff, and suddenly you become a complete wimp in the Starship battlefield. Very, very huge change of events can happen because of that. And each mech has their own ability, except for one, but I'll mention that. Hideyoshi every time he moves, you have the luxury of moving a clan marker one space on the alliance track. That's nice because you can help yourself get more points as you're moving them. Who wouldn't want to do that? Gozen, which is the most interesting with this headpiece, it fascinates me. When Gozen is in a battle, your opponents must commit and reveal their battle cards before you choose yours. Battle cards are still resolved in turn order. That is humongous, because suddenly out of the blue, everyone else might want to bluff. Now they can't, because you have this awesome mech but of course you have to remember, it only applies to the battlefield that Gozen is in. So if Gozen is not in this battle, but another mech of that same player is in that battle, then you won't get Gozen's benefit. It has to be in the battle that's being resolved. And you resolve the battles in order. You'll notice this has a 3, the other has a 1 and a 2, and there's a 4 I showed earlier. That is the order that the combats get resolved. And there are cards that will actually let you move Samurai, but it wouldn't matter in this case because the card would already be resolved. But the point is, each of these mechs has these awesome abilities. Or in the case of Masamune, he actually has a bad thing that it cost him 1 money to move him, but wow, he is power 6. That is epic. And whenever he plops up, it pretty much just makes everyone kind of cry like a little baby in their star suits, their space suits and everything. So yeah, and then that's part of the initial strategy of the game, is picking your mechs. Who do you think is going to help you the most? And then on your turns, the strategy really comes down to, what orders are you going to take? Because here's the thing. If you decide to take, to start drawing cards, no one knows what you're getting, so that's a nice secret way of getting a benefit. But if you start moving units right off the bat, it's good and bad. If you move units, you have the chance of getting these bonuses at the beginning of every turn if you have the most power there. But it does not mean that you're going to stay that way, because by the time it comes around to you, someone goes, oh, you moved there, well, I'm going to come in here and knock you off as being the leader. And so you don't necessarily gain anything there. So that's a tough thing. Do you move quickly in hopes of gaining power in these bonuses because you have the most power there, or do you save the moving until later to see where everyone else is going? That's really important. And then the gaining wealth, that's always a nice thing to do. You could just start off by doing a 4 there if you want, because getting 4 wealth is equivalent to having a 4 that you can another 4 order token that you can distribute how you want. So there's a lot of strategy here in what you choose to do. Do you want to go ahead and move the alliance markers? Sometimes in one game I saved so much wealth that I was able to shift something all the way from one person's from the top of theirs, where they would get 5 points at the end of a round. I shifted it all the way back to my side, so I got the points. I mean, and doing that at the very last second is important. So going last can be humongously powerful. Play that 4 here, spend another 6 wealth or something to move it 10 spaces. Game changer, because suddenly they're not going to get points, but you're going to get a lot of points. That is awesome. So lots of cool things going on here. Thematic, impressive. I'm really excited. The game ends whenever the last location cards are dealt out and dealt with. So basically, you will, no matter if anyone wins one or not, if there's a tie, it just gets discarded. I'm sorry. No, I don't know why I said that. If there's a tie, the person who is first in turn order will get to. They'll win, and they'll take this, get their 5 points, and get the bonus. Then you deal out more cards onto the locations, and you just keep going from there. If no one was at a location, then you just discard it, and you put another card there. Once all the cards are gone, game's over, and it's relatively quick. Some cards get removed, depending on the number of players, which is based on some little mark. Don't even see it on these. Oh, it's over here. Like this. These little marks right here, they decide, they tell you, if you're going to remove it based on your player count. And also, you get some bonus points for these little location symbols. This is another thing that I find a little frustrating. Really? I mean, my gosh, that thing is so tiny. Who would even know it's there? But the more different icons you have of those on locations you've captured, you get bonus points. Don't really care for that, because whenever you see this card, that is the last thing you're looking at. You're focused on that awesome artwork. You don't care about that tiny little symbol in the top right, but that's just me maybe. So that is the gist of how you play. Remember, I didn't cover every rule, didn't cover all the details, but it's just area control, no moving. It's not like everything's adjacent. You just consider everything adjacent, which is another interesting thing. All these locations, you just hop around, boom, 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 all you want, and keep shifting the balance of power in each location until everyone's done their orders. You resolve the battles by playing your cards, and then, bam, people who won go back home, deal out new cards. People get their points or whatever from allegiances, and that's pretty much the flow of the game. So, what do we think? Well, let me just say that in my opinion, Starship Samurai is an excellent game. 9 out of 10 for me. I highly recommend it. Why? Because for an area control game that has there's no movement in the sense of like a normal area control game. You're not moving the long spaces until you get somewhere. You just plop your units wherever you want them. And the fact that it's so quick, it's just a quick, simple game, and really, and yet the combat is interesting. The fact that the shifting of power can change all the time, I find that to be fascinating, and I'm really impressed by it. The fact that you can move your mech so quickly and just crush people's hopes and dreams with one turn. One turn can really shatter what someone thought was going to happen. I find that to be fascinating. Also, there's an optional rule and this helps me get to the 9 rating. Optional rule of you can negotiate anything. You can offer wealth tokens to get someone to attack somebody, go to someone's location to stop them from getting a bonus. You can offer wealth tokens to say, hey, I've got this awesome card that I could use to crush you right now or ruin your day. If you give me some wealth tokens, maybe I'll not do that. Maybe I'll use it on the other guy. It's that kind of stuff I really like. I always like negotiation in games. That's why Cosmic Encounter is so high on my list, because I like to be able to bargain with people and try to influence people in certain ways. But yeah, all those things mean a lot to me. Now, as far as you've already seen the component qualities great. I find the replay value obviously to be great. Everything is just awesome. I mean, this game has everything I want. Cool mechs, cool miniatures, all little ships and everything. There's just a lot of cool stuff here, and the cards are good quality. So I like looking at it. I like playing it. I think there's a lot of strategy in trying to manipulate other people with the negotiations. Everything's just really, really fun, and I just can't speak highly enough about it. So let me know what you think. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? What are your thoughts? And leave in the comments. Tell me. And if you disagree, I'd like to know why. And and I know that for some people, the negotiation aspect and being able to influence people or bribe them or blackmail them, whatever, that could be a negative for some people, but it's optional. You don't have to allow that, so keep that in mind before you pass too much judgment. There you go. That's my review of Starship Samurai. Really enjoy it. Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And please subscribe if you want to see more of these types of videos, and give me some advice if you want to see anything in particular. And I'll see you on the next one. Take care, everybody.